Up until 2019, when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I was just 39 back then. And this diagnosis was like a wake-up call.
What exactly happens to a women's hormone when they cross 35 years or over 35 years, I would say? And why does everything seems that it was working but suddenly stopped?
Simply because our ovaries start aging. We are born with a certain number of eggs. From the moment a girl is conceived in the womb, she has a fixed number of eggs. And the moment we are born, we already have lost more than half of those eggs, imagine. Women at the other end of the spectrum who struggle from the moment, I would say, they get their first period. From cysts, fibroids, strong PMS, infertility issues, breastfeeding issues, I cannot breastfeed, or I don't have enough milk, or my body changes a lot during breastfeeding, and then all the way to perimenopause, very early menopausal symptoms, hot flashes by the age of 36, 37. These are the unlucky ones. All hormones are misunderstood, but the most misunderstood, or I would say overhyped, is cortisol. I'm eating healthy and I'm going to the gym, right? But what she is doing is she is just trapped in this fight or flight mode.
Right.
She is exhausted, she has disrupted her nervous system, and when the nervous system is disrupted, the first thing that the body does, it shuts down metabolism.
5 things which the partners can actually take care or keep in their mind while taking care of their wives or the spouse. I got a DM from someone in my inbox last month. Yes. She was actually insisting for us to bring someone who can talk about women health. So we got someone very inspiring with us today who already knows a lot about female hormones, women health, and she has been doing the same since last 20 years. I mean, it's incredible, and I couldn't find someone better than Tina Chagoury with us. Hi Tina, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you with us. Would
Thank
you like
you.
to introduce yourself?
So my name is Tina Chagoury. I've been, like you said, in the field for the past 21 years and in the UAE for the past 21 years. So as soon as I graduated, I came. And I'm a mom of 2 as well. I'm a woman dealing with women all day long. I work mainly in everything that has to do with clinical and functional nutrition. And my main focus and my main specialty is in hormonal health. So anything that ranges from puberty all the way to postmenopause. So I accompany women in this journey.
Okay. So let's start with a question that was there a personal moment in your life, in your own health, or someone close to you, which actually inspired you or force you, I would say, to make this decision around the hormonal health?
Yeah, definitely. Because initially I studied general nutrition and I did my internship in a hospital. So I was really covering all fields of nutrition, chronic illness, men, women, kids, teenagers. Up until 2019, when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I was just 39 back then. And this diagnosis was like a wake-up call, because it obviously I was not expecting, no one expects to be diagnosed with cancer. I was very healthy. I was practicing for already 15, 16 years. So I was very intrigued to know, is there a relationship between what we eat, cancer, chronic illness, our hormones? My cancer was hormonal. So there was a lot of hormonal therapy afterwards. I was put on medically induced menopause and everything that came with it. So yeah, I had a very high curiosity on understanding what is it in women's body that changes with menopause? What is it that could put her at risk of certain cancers? Why are women just not finding answers? I was one of them back then. So I started digging deeper into functional nutrition, and this is how I shifted my practice from general nutrition to functional nutrition, specializing in female hormonal health.
Okay. I want to understand one thing from your end, Tina, that what exactly happens to a women's hormone when they cross 35 years or over 35 years, I would say? And why does everything seems that it was working but suddenly stop?
Yeah. Um, Simply because our ovaries start aging. As we are born with a certain number of eggs. From the moment a girl is conceived in the womb, she has a fixed number of eggs. And the moment we are born, we already have lost more than half of those eggs, imagine. So we spend our life using the remaining third of eggs, if you want. So by the age of 30, or as we approach 35 or 40, our ovaries have aged. What does it mean, have aged? It means they're not as responsive to the brain signals, because the master commander in the body is the brain. It's the brain that tells the ovaries what to produce, when to produce the estrogen, the progesterone, the testosterone, which level. So there's a looping system in the body. So the brain kept on producing these hormones, but at a certain level, naturally, our ovaries are aging. They're not as responsive. This affects the signaling, and the signaling affects the production and the ovulation. And once the ovulation is affected, everything else gets affected together. So the hormones change, and when the hormones change, they bring with them a spectrum of symptoms, ranging from something as silly as itching,
Okay.
all the way to anxiety, panic attacks, weight gain, insulin resistance, inflammation, and the spectrum is huge. Some women stay on the low spectrum all their lives, and I call these women the lucky ones, because they just enter puberty, no symptoms. They go into fertility years, pregnancy, regular symptoms. They also go into perimenopause with minimal symptoms, menopause. These are the lucky ones who don't really struggle. And then you have women at the other end of the spectrum who struggle from the moment, I would say, they get their first period. From cysts, fibroids, strong PMS, infertility issues, breastfeeding issues. I cannot breastfeed, or I don't have enough milk, or my breastfeeding is, I can't, my body changes a lot during breastfeeding. And then all the way to perimenopause, very early menopausal symptoms, hot flashes by the age of 36, 37. These are the unlucky ones. What determines? Genetics plays a huge role on where you are at the spectrum, and lifestyle. And this is where my role became so obvious. Like, if lifestyle does affect how women enter menopause or exit puberty, or how likely they are to get pregnant, then we must work on it, and we must educate women on what are the things to do and what are the things to avoid for you to keep your fertility healthy, for you to prepare yourself for menopause.
So, Tina, you recently took name of couple of hormones, cortisol, insulin, estrogen, and progesterone as well.
Yeah.
But according to you, which hormone is the most misunderstood one, and how they connect it, and what do most women get completely wrong about it?
Okay, so I think the most to be honest, all of them are misunderstood, because we are not taught about our hormones growing up. Right. We are taught about the symptoms. We are taught PMS. We are taught you want to get pregnant, eat well, take your prenatal vitamin, take your folic acid. But no one taught us that fertility, for instance, needs preparation, that conception needs priming. You're not supposed to just get pregnant the moment you decide to, without doing your test, without seeing if you have deficiencies, without fixing these things. So all hormones are misunderstood, but the most misunderstood, or I would say over-hyped, is cortisol. Because everybody speaks about it, and everybody tells you you're tired, oh, it's your cortisol. You're sleepy, oh, it's your cortisol. You gained weight, oh, it's your cortisol. It does play a role in all of these, but it's not always cortisol. And cortisol is not really the bad hormone like people like to, give it this reputation. Cortisol is actually our main weapon against stress. It's our resilience hormone. We need to have it in certain amounts. We need to produce enough of it. We need to have a good we need to have a good flow of cortisol throughout the day to be able to say, okay, I have a good cortisol.
Okay. So inflammation and hormones, so how they are actually interconnected to each other, and why is anti-inflammatory eating is so important, which everything you do is connected to it.
Yeah, so first of all hormones are connected together. So you ask me, how are they connected? All of them are connected in one network, and that network has precursors. So you have cholesterol is one of the precursors which our body needs in order for us to produce hormones. You have the adrenal hormones, which are DHEA. Adrenal hormones is also cortisol. So we have, if you look at the network of hormones, you will be amazed. It's like a labyrinth of connections and pathways. So all of these are connected, and our body works in a looping system and a signaling system. Right? So if this is low, this has to increase. If this increases, this has to decrease. And the moment one signal is disrupted, be sure that one way or another, all your hormones, if you don't handle this disruption, all your hormones will get affected. This is why when someone comes into the clinic and tells me, you know, I did my blood test, everything is fine. My thyroid is just off the charts, but everything else is fine. In my mind, everything is still fine until it's not fine, because if your thyroid is not functioning properly, we need to investigate further and look at your other hormones. We need to look at your inflammation. We need to look at your gut health, because not only hormones are connected, our hormonal system, which is called the endocrine system, and our nervous system are closely connected. And they're all closely connected to our immune system that is responsible for inflammation. And when the body is inflamed for whatever reason, unhealthy food, inflammatory food, stress, lack of sleep, name it, it affects the signaling of the hormones. So a body that is inflamed does not signal the same way like a body that is healthy, not inflamed. And this is why women who suffer from inflammation or who eat very inflammatory food, like, you know, you have cookies for breakfast and then pastas for lunch, and then alcohol in the evening, and then you smoke, and then you over-exercise, you don't sleep, like you're inflamed. And you know you're inflamed because you wake up every morning feeling bloated, water retention, your rings don't fit, you're just not feeling like yourself. You're bloated and you don't feel, you're nauseous. All these are possible signs of inflammation. So a woman who wakes up like this and who feels this way is most likely a woman whose hormones are not able to communicate properly together, right? Because picture inflammation like a road that has a lot of bumps. And hormones are like the messengers, the taxis on the road. So the more bumps you have and the more bad roads and blocked roads you have, the less likely you are to get the message on time, because the messenger cannot reach.
Yeah.
This is exactly the same for the body. That's why when someone shows up with infertility, I look at inflammation. Because yes, infertility could be related to hormones and hormonal balance, and maybe her hormones on paper don't look good, but in my mind, why are her hormones not messaging properly and signaling well? Let's look at the root cause. 90% of the time, it's inflammation.
Okay. So according to you, I mean, like the first stage to identify these things are the test, the blood test, or something which can give you a little bit of idea about what is wrong?
I wouldn't say the first. I would say the first step is the symptoms, always, is the clinical symptoms, either symptoms like pains or discomfort, or troubles like my period stopped, or I'm trying to get pregnant and I'm unable, or I had few miscarriages, or I'm having hot flashes. These are the symptoms. So yeah, symptoms are a good indicator of where to start, because there are so many tests that we can do, from urine test to saliva test to blood test to diagnostic test to genetic test. So many tests can be done. And if I'm just going to sit with you and tell you, Priyanka, you just need to do those 10 tests, it's useless. It's a waste of money. What I do is I look at your lifestyle, your symptoms, and based on that, I narrow it down. Okay, let's start with what matters the most. Let's say you tell me your gut is inflamed, you're constipated, you can't go to the bathroom. I will tell you, okay, this is our priority. Let's just figure out what's happening in your gut. And then once I have the results of your gut, I can take you further and tell you something is off here. Let's investigate your inflammation. Let's look at your hormones. So it's literally like a little road that we go on this journey together. And then it takes time, by the way. It's not a one-time off. That's why women who tell me, I want to book an appointment with you, like, I don't live here, or I just want to see you because I need to get some information on this and that, my blood tests are not okay. I always tell them, I will book you in with an appointment with me, but be sure, one appointment followed by one report that I send you, that's only the beginning. Don't expect to change in one meeting, because I will meet with you, you will show me the blood tests you have. There are probably other blood tests that I will ask, and then I'll give you a protocol. Then you have to try the protocol, and then we have to retest and see if the protocol works. So it's not a one-time off. Health is a journey, and people need to understand, to become healthy or change your life, it's a commitment, and you need the right team with you, and you need the right mindset, and you need to invest. And this is where women don't succeed. When it comes to investing in your own health. Her daughter comes to her and asks for 3,000 dirhams for a trip. She doesn't even think twice. She pays it. But if the doctor tells her there's a test that the insurance might not cover, but it will give us great insight into your hormones, she'll be like, I'll think of it. This is where the mindset has to shift for women.
Okay. But most of the time it happens that the women over 35 is being told her symptoms could be the reason of she's just aging, or maybe because of the stress, or maybe the hormones are here and there, or could be like could be the thing. So is the medical system actually failing women, and what does that failing actually looks like to you?
It looks like exactly what you described, and yes, it was failing women for the longest time, and now luckily it's there's a movement for women's health, and I'm so happy. Women are so much more aware. Women are, this is a proof. You are hosting me to speak about this, and so many other podcasts. Women are looking for answers more than it's just stress, it's just age, it's your hormones. And they never tell you which hormones, by the way. It's your hormones, as if hormones are ghosts that live in our body and we have to get rid of them. So yes, the system has failed women for the longest time because research was based mostly on men. Trials were done on a combo of a sample in terms of clinical trials, and women specifically alone were never considered to be studied alone. Now we see it more and more. Even practitioners, even women's health itself, menopause, perimenopause, puberty, these take basically from a medical doctor or a dietitian or any health professional maybe a day or two out of their 4 years of studying. So now things are shifted, and I'm hoping, because back then when I studied nutrition and public health, in both of them put together, maybe 6-7 years of studying, maybe I've covered a 5 hour on women's health. So this is not okay, because we cannot treat women's bodies like we treat men's bodies. Even men deserve to have more specialized protocols for them, whether it's exercise or supplement. We have to just separate, because we're not the same.
It's all about awareness, I would say.
Yeah, of course.
So perimenopause is a topic which actually talked very less, especially by the women itself. So don't you, and most of the women, they are not even aware about it, that they are into that phase. So what are the signs women are missing and they should actually work on it?
To start with, they need to understand what perimenopause is, and differentiate between premenopause, perimenopause, and menopause to start with. And once they know the difference, they can tell where they are. So premenopause are all the years between puberty and perimenopause. So all the fertility years, if you want. Perimenopause are the 10 years before your menopause. Menopause is the day you have had 12 months of no period. So on the 12th month, that day is the menopause, and everything that goes afterward is post-menopause. So the average age of menopause, so the day you officially are menopausal because you haven't had your period for 12 months, the average age in the world is 52, 53. It is dropping now. We are seeing younger menopause averages. I don't have the exact recent numbers, which means as you enter 42, 43, you're officially in the perimenopause era. Because, I mean, unless you're one of the lucky ones who will have her menopause at 56, not 52, then you enter perimenopause at 46, 47. Now, this is in terms of age timeline. But of course, there are exceptions. And like I told you, some women will have all the symptoms in the world and some women will just have few symptoms. The earliest signs of perimenopause are irregular periods. Because like I told you earlier, because of the ovarian aging and the lower ovarian reserves, the ovulation system changes. And she will either be having her period very early or very late or erratic, or she will have shorter luteal phase, we call it. So from the time she ovulates till the time she gets her periods becomes much shorter than 2 weeks, changes. These are the earliest signs. And most of the time they are dismissed as, it's fine, it's normal, no big deal. And that's where a woman should be aware that when she is told it's fine, she's basically told you are not sick. But that doesn't mean what you're feeling is not true, or the symptoms are not real, or this is not really affecting your personal life, your marital life, your psychological life. It just means you're not sick. But it's between being sick and feeling amazing, there's a whole range of emotions. Why do you want to be either here or here? So when you are in the middle, you have the capacity and you have the right to feel amazing. And this is where preventive medicine and functional medicine plays a role. We are no longer treating the disease only. We're really helping, if we're talking about women now, we're helping them thrive in the body they deserve. And it's not very difficult to achieve, by the way. It just takes commitment and understanding and awareness.
Okay. So most of the time, this is a general question which we face, we discuss with our friends and all, that I eat well, I sleep well, and I do exercises as well. But still, I feel most of the time exhausted. So what is the main thing which is missing here?
It depends. For every woman, it could be something. Definitely, this is legitimate. So what you're saying is very common. Yes, in fact, I can say 70% of women who visit me in the clinic eat well, exercise, sleep well, not really. Sleep is an issue. But then they would tell me, I do this, but I'm not feeling myself, or I'm tired, or I'm exhausted. So it ranges. It could be perimenopause. So it could be that hormones are changing. It could be overexertion. So most women are overexercising, undereating, and they're living in this loop, overworking, undersleeping, overexercising, and just drained. So in her mind, I'm eating healthy and I'm going to the gym, right? But what she is doing is she is just trapped in this fight or flight mode.
Right.
She is exhausted. She has disrupted her nervous system. And when the nervous system is disrupted, the first thing that the body does, it shuts down metabolism. It shuts down thyroid function. It shuts down the digestive system. So it is no wonder if a woman is going through stress, and on top of the stress, she's forcing herself to not eat, and she's overdoing the exercise, and she's waking up early to do her boot camp. There is no wonder she's bloated. She has constipation, and she's gaining weight because her body shifted the focus from all the functions of the body, including digestion and reproduction and thyroid and metabolism, to the main survival functions. So she needs to get out of her survival mode. Most of the time, this is the reason.
Okay. So let's talk about stress.
Yeah.
How does stress, the kind of most of the women they carry every day, it actually affects their body in terms of women's cycle, their health, and hormones changes?
So like we said, so all the hormones are interconnected. Now, stress specifically, if we want to focus on stress, there is something that is called the HPO axis in the body, okay? HPA axis. So the HPA axis stands for hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal. The hypothalamus and the pituitary are in the brain. The adrenal gland is on the kidneys, okay? There's an axis, which means a line of communication that is constantly happening between the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal, and it's a very important pathway to regulate us. So if you're facing danger, this is the pathway that helps you. If you're under a little bit of stress, this is the pathway that activates your muscles, your brain health, your heart health, to be able to fight or flight, right? This is called the HPA axis. The problem starts when this HPA axis is constantly triggered. So rather than I'm faced with this stressor, my HPA axis gets activated, it helps me deal with the situation, and then it goes back to normal, which is great. It keeps getting stimulated without recovery, without going back to normal. This is where the problem happens. Why? When this HPA axis is stimulated for the longest time, because of any stressor, by the way, the body perceives all the stress the same way. You could be not eating, or you could be in a war zone. Imagine, two very different stress. The body perceives it the same thing. You could be going through a breakup or a divorce, or you could be having major mineral deficiencies. One is internal, one is external. When they arrive to the brain perceives it as stress, full stop. And when it perceives it as stress, the same pathway is activated, the HPA. And when the pathway is activated, automatically the body activates or stimulates or reinforces 2 or 3 functions in the body, especially the heart and the arteries, the blood flow, the brain, the eyes, the hearing, the nervous system is activated. And then it deactivates the other systems, such as reproduction, and hence hormone production, hormone signaling. All of this is put on hold. Why? Because the body is saying she is not safe to reproduce. So we're going to tone down. We will not let her get pregnant. We will not let her ovulate properly. We will not let her get her regular periods. This is why women who enter a lot of stress, this is what happens. So reproduction. The other function that gets dismissed or attenuated or shut down, if you want, digestion, because I don't want to send all my energy and my blood and the nutrients that I'm taking to digestion. I need it for my heart and my nervous system, remember, because they are the ones to save me. So my digestion becomes slower. The motility of my digestive system, the muscle of my digestive system becomes slower. That my enzymes work less. The acidity in my stomach is lower, which means I am not digesting properly. I am bloated, I'm constipated, I'm developing food intolerances. So that's why under stress, women experience this. And the other systems that also get kind of deactivated is the detox system. My liver is unable to process all those toxins well because the body told him, just hold on this. We can't give you energy now. We need the energy here. And unless the woman or the body or the human finds a way to regulate the nervous system through therapy, through meditation, through breath work, through consistent eating, reducing inflammation. There are so many things we can do, supplements, there are so many things we can do to regulate the nervous system. Unless it's regulated and resolved, this will stay activated and this will stay deactivated. And this is where most of us get it wrong. Most of us deal with stress with more stress, and we start layering the stresses. So she's stressed, maybe I need to exercise more. Maybe I need to lose weight. Maybe this is not the time to do all of this.
To reduce the stress, they take more stress.
Exactly.
Okay, so Tina, I have a few rapid fire questions for you. Okay, so whatever first comes to your mind, you can answer. Okay, so one food which every woman over 35 should add in her plate starting tomorrow.
Sardines.
Okay.
Yeah, omega-3 and good proteins.
Nice. Okay. So coffee is a hormone helper or a hormone wrecker?
I wouldn't say hormone helper, but it's not a hormone breaker if you know what time to have it and how to have it.
Okay. The most overrated health trend right now, one word.
Jumping on all kinds of IV drips and all the trendy protocols without proper assessment.
Okay. Sleep or exercise? If a woman can only prioritize one
Sleep.
Sleep.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is what I've learned from the conversation as
Yeah.
well. It's all start
Regulate
from
your nervous
the
system.
Sleep, yes. Give that most wanted, much needed rest
Of course.
to your
Absolutely.
body. Okay. So finish this sentence, okay? Every woman deserves to know that her body is not dash.
Her body is not failing her. It's just asking for attention. It's calling her. It's giving her signs.
Okay. So sleep, you also mentioned, and sleep is, everyone says it matters, but no one explains why it's non-regulated or non-negotiable for the consistency or for the hormone specifically.
It's exactly what I explained earlier. It's a nervous system regulation. Number one, it's production of cortisol. People should know that, women should know that there's also a time frame for sleep. Sleeping at 3 a.m. and waking up at 10 a.m. is not like sleeping at 10 p.m. and waking up at 5 a.m. Let's agree on this. To take advantage of your hours of sleep, you have to sleep as close as possible to sunset and wake up as close as possible to sunrise. This is quality sleep, because the major detoxing of the body and production of hormones and production of all hormones, including cortisol, happens between roughly 11 and 3 a.m. It doesn't happen at sunrise. It happens during your phase of deep sleep when it's dark outside, because we do follow the sun cycle as well, the circadian rhythm. Men and women, we have a circadian rhythm. So when you wake up in the morning, your cortisol needs to increase to the top. That's the maximum it will reach. And then you're going to use up this cortisol throughout the day to fight the regular stressors. And by the time sun sets, so by the time it's dark, your cortisol should go all the way to the bottom, because if it doesn't go all the way down, your melatonin cannot increase. This is a condition. If your cortisol stays up, you cannot produce melatonin, and if you don't produce melatonin, you don't get sleepy and quality sleep. So this is a cycle that we have to enter. Cortisol has to do this, melatonin increases here, or it increases here and then leads to sleep, and then it decreases and then we produce again. So we enter this circadian rhythm, and add to the circadian rhythm that women and men go through. Women also go through their 28-day cycle. So day 1 of your period, you don't feel the same thing like day 24, right, or like your PMS time, or like your ovulation. So to go back to sleep, yes, sleep is essential at a certain times in day, because it regulates your nervous system. It makes sure that you have recovered from whatever happened yesterday. And if you don't sleep well, anyone can tell me, you, anyone, 2 nights in a row, and after 41 nights only, not even 2 nights, don't sleep enough, you will wake up the next day tired, cranky, hungry, cravings, you can't focus, you have brain fog. 1 night of sleep, because you have missed on this window of detoxing and replenishing.
Okay, but according to you, what is the ideal time frame for the sleep duration?
I mean, it depends for everyone. It can range from 6 hours all the way to 10, 11 hours. Some people function great on 6 hours of sleep, but a good quality deep sleep at night. So some people sleep at 10, let's say, and wake up, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and they feel amazing. They have good quality sleep. And some women sleep at 12, wake up at 12 the next day, and have very bad sleep. So they wake up many times at night. They have this 3 a.m. Waking up, which is a very common sign of cortisol imbalance. So it's not really the length of time or the hours, it's the quality and the timing mostly.
Okay. So coffee, alcohol, and sugar. Pick one of these and tell me which is the one which is affecting the women hormone the most.
You said sugar, alcohol, and coffee?
Yes.
Hormones, it's a competition between alcohol and sugar. It's not coffee. Coffee is not as disruptive as people think. couple of cups a day, if you're well nourished, in the contrary, it helps, it stimulates, you enjoy it, it's your you time, of course. Obviously not with a ton of milk and sugar and stuff. Now, sugar is disruptive for hormones. It starts by if you overdo it again. If you're overeating sweets and sugar, and alcohol, because alcohol has to be detoxified in the liver. And as we age, meaning as we enter our 40s, the enzyme that breaks down alcohol in our body decreases. So our body has more difficulty eliminating alcohol. And so this is, again, another reason why women above 40 who drink alcohol find it much more difficult for them to get over a hangover compared to when they were 20 or 30, because of this inability to process alcohol. And yes, on the long term, it disrupts hormones.
Okay. See, we are talking a lot about women hormones, women health and all. But I feel like it is a mutual understanding with your partners as well. I mean, like your male partner should also understand the cycle, the up and downs and all those things. So partners often don't understand what's happening when your hormones are not supporting you, or there are other changes in the hormone. So what do you wish partners should know, and how they can actually help instead of making it worse?
Yeah, I mean, first thing they can do is educate themselves. And there is if there's one thing nowadays is enough information out there, whether it's podcasts, reels, just look for, reliable sources, educate yourself, just like you watch whatever interests you have on social media. Watch a couple of videos about women's health, and you will be getting on your feed enough of that to share with her. Maybe I would also tell women, you share with your husbands or your partners videos like this or podcasts like this that are interesting, that could give insight into how women's hormone change, why she feels certain way at the beginning of her cycle and not at the end. So just share some information, communicate, explain. Again, another thing, awareness has been increasing a lot as well among men about women's health.
Right.
Because women are no longer silent about it. Women are being very loud about the struggles of especially menopause and perimenopause and everything that comes with it, because it does affect marital life, because libido change, sexual desires change, joint pain, fatigue, weight gain, ability to do the things you used to do. So all of this affects the relationship. And unless the partner is aware of those changes and both are communicating well, it can lead to major problems in a couple. So, and it's no longer taboo, and it's out there and the information is there. Yeah, I know that maybe practitioners or physicians at the clinic don't have enough time to educate women. Unfortunately, I wish it was different, and I wish they could give every woman that comes in enough time, but I completely understand they're overwhelmed with their schedules. This is why there are podcasts like this for everyone to access and be able to understand.
Can I ask you 5 things which the partners can actually take care or keep in their mind while taking care of their wives or the spouses?
Be aware of her cycle. If she's still in her cycle, be aware that, at the beginning, in the first 7 days, she's menstruating, she's vulnerable, she's tired. So take over some of the tasks. In the second quarter of her cycle, she's great. She can exercise, she can work out, she can eat high protein. Because I see a lot of men telling their wives, why don't you eat like me? Why don't you exercise like me? I'm doing this, you don't have willpower. And she has all the willpower. She's just very different than you. So understand your differences. Don't force things on her. Don't make her feel bad about herself. And then in the second half of her cycle, so closer to her period, she is vulnerable. She needs more emotional support. She might want to have a bit of ice cream or a bit of pasta. It's no big deal. Don't judge her. Be next to her, show her that you understand. That's enough. If you just tell her, okay, yeah, I know you're going through the second phase, or, you're PMSing, without judgment, because unfortunately some men will use that the whole month just to tell her you're hormonal, you know, what's wrong? Did you get your period? Maybe that's why you're cranky. Sometimes it's not hormonal. Sometimes her mood has nothing to do with her hormones. Could be just emotions or trouble in her couple. And then the most important advice for men with wives who are entering menopause or perimenopause, you have to educate yourself and you have to discuss and communicate the solutions that she can benefit from, whether it's hormone replacement therapy, whether it's changing her lifestyle, getting the support that she needs, the supplements she needs. She needs to invest in her health for her to feel at her best and look at her best for herself first and then for the couple.
Okay, I think it's a wonderful advice, I would say.
Yeah.
For everyone. And everything starts from awareness.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so you help a lot of women to reclaim their bodies. But who takes care of you? I mean, like, can you actually share your hormonal health journey with us?
Yeah, of course. I mean, my hormonal health journey is a bit different because of my breast cancer and the treatment that comes after. So I am on induced menopause since the age of 39, which means I had to enter menopause overnight. I didn't have the luxury of the 10 years of perimenopause. So yes, the shift was strong, and many women who are watching have gone through the same, whether it's because of a cancer treatment or because of a medical treatment procedure. So I eat extremely anti-inflammatory. It's just, this is non-negotiable for me. So my processed sugar intake is close to zero. I only have extra virgin olive oil. My gluten is close to zero. I only eat grass-fed beef when I want to eat beef. I have a good consumption of fish. I have vegetables every day on every meal. I personally intermittent fast because it works for me, and because I went through the journey of stabilizing my blood sugar to be able to intermittent fast. It's not for everyone. So my point is, there is a way for postmenopausal women to feel themselves again. I am a proof of it. Many of my clients are a proof of it. You just need to get the right advice. Supplements, I take my vitamin D, my omega-3, my magnesium. I occasionally take zinc. It depends on the season. I mean, I've taken many more before, but currently this is my protocol. Obviously, I take my collagen, my electrolytes. I make sure I have enough protein throughout the day. I mean, I can go on for hours, but that's mainly it.
But Tina, thank you so much for coming and spreading the awareness about this very important, untouched topic. Actually, most of the time, the basic understanding of health is that eat well, sleep well, and exercise.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And we miss the very important between the lines for this
That's
thing.
true.
But thank you so much for coming and sharing the awareness and sharing your journey as well. I mean, it is inspiring. You are inspiring, actually.
Thank you.
Thank you. So many females. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you for having me.